to stay warm, is so afraid of my affections. You could drown in your own storm. There's no need for reservation. No one else can see. After some examination, man, I think that you've got what I need. It's really alright. It's really alright. It's really alright if you don't love me. What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, that cold-hearted landscape or me? What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, that cold-hearted landscape or me? I'm in a singing mood. I don't know why, just a singing mood. I guess because I'm warm and cozy. Our heat went out for Christmas, and our hot water went out. They're working on it right now, but you know, these things take time. So, they should have everything fixed by the time I need to take my shower. I gotta take my shower. So let's see, can you hear me? Yeah, you should be able to hear me. I see the little microphone thingy going. What I'm putting on is not actually white, but there is some titanium in it. It is iridescent medium. And the white that I put on was completely absorbed by this fabric, whatever it is. I am assuming a nylon of some kind. And let's see, there's some iridescence on here. Of course, I'm usually the only person that sees the back of this. Except for the wonderful lady Shirley, who helps me on and off the old lady bus. Because I am an old lady. I love telling people how old I am just so they can say, you don't look that old. But really, how old is anybody supposed to look, right? The sound in the background today is another fan. This time it's a space heater. I am staying warm. This is costing more. Okay, I think we need some more medium. This is not panning out back here. White or medium? White. This stuff's like jelly. It doesn't really want to come out. Alright, so we have a little white, just a blobette, or another squirt of a charming sounding medium. We'll give it a little stir. I've got this watercolor brush. It is made for watercolor actually, or gouache, basically, water-based mediums. And even if I should forget by the length of the handle, it's short, that's usually watercolor. The softness of the bristle, also probably watercolor, but because it's got this cool scraper edge, so you can make, not showing there, but you can like scratch out patterns and stuff in your watercolors while it's still wet and pull out some of the white from, or whatever color it's at, your undercolor of your watercolor. Alright, I think we have finished this around enough. Let's see, get the excess off here. Yep. Hold up. Be a no-no. Tiny, tiny drop on the floor. Not okay. There we go. Perfect. Let's try not to do that again. Have to be careful when you're working on a nice floor. This is a nice floor. So a fairly new floor. So. And this year I get new linoleum in the kitchen. I'm looking forward to that. The linoleum I have right now has permanent footprints in it from the bottom of a shoe, a boot or similar. A lot of tread and permanent adhesive on my floor. So it'll be nice to have that look on. Rumor has it they've been replacing it with the same wooden floor I have now, just putting it everywhere. I'm not sure I really want a wood laminate in bathroom and kitchen, But whatever they want to do, it's not my place. I'm just a renter. Alright, wispy clouds. I think we wisped it enough. Let's let it dry. Wispy over here. It's wispy. I don't know how they are. Clouds. I didn't make them look like anything. Okay, well, I got a little bit of white and the iridescent medium left in here. I'm going to wash the sponge out. Then I'm going to try adding some purple, some prism violet, and we're going to mess with some flowers in the front. Although I'll probably do an experiment with that first. it would be called in other brands. But Liquid Ducks invented this one, and they invented it long after I was selling this stuff myself. Let's see, let's get some violet. Hey, too easy. Let's do some of that. There. Okay. Isn't that yummy? You see the iridescence around here? Well, there's a little bit. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, delicious. Alright, so let me see what we've got here. Yeah, I was going to try and get all the way down here, and it's not going to happen. So. There we go. Let's try and get this where people can actually see it, right? Purple down in there. Hey, dark. We need some dark over there. There we go. Miss you. I need your mailing address, dear. I have your Christmas gift here. So, I am dressing up my little lady cart because I'm just sick of seeing this oil stain that was on it when it was given to me from sitting in my friend's garage. Belonged to her mom. And I love it. It's just the right size for me to handle. But I really couldn't stand seeing the stains, and it wouldn't come out because it was like, well, an oil or transmission fluid or something. But it didn't go to the inside, which is lined with, you know, the silver stuff. And that's the reason I like this, because it's lined and it helps keep things colder longer, which is handy because the only time this is out is when it's on a bus. So I decided to dress it up. Really, I need something about twice the size of this, but I'd like to try to keep getting by with something smaller. So I'll probably use this until an axle breaks. Okay, and I've got all this beautiful color left, and I don't really want this in front. But I guess I need to throw some purple in there for contrast, because I want to do some orange flowers. Alright, let's see if I can get back up after this. So how is it going? Hello. Okay. It's not easy getting up. Let me see what you're saying. Hi, Charlie. He's still on holiday. That's the nice thing about school. Holidays like that. I've got extra. What am I gonna put it on? Oh, I can't do that. I haven't seen that. Oh, there's something. Oh no, I think I want to sand that more. I have a little rock from the collection of undone rocks. There's no sirs here except for you. Let's toss this around like a truffle in chocolate and lay it out to dry. show you what I'm working on. It's, oh dear. Hold on. Know what paint on my hands when I handle this. Working on a new backdrop for Tobarina. I made her little cat ears. No, I'm not doing an apartment where my apartment's none of your business. Probably. But we're not going to be doing this forever. We're going to go back to our usual setup with the other camera. Because right now the other option is hold on. I could do that, or that. So this we're going to let dry before I go ahead and do the next stage. Meantime, I am going to wash this brush out and return to the table to work on what I just showed you close up. As I head that way, back to where I can sit down, it's going to take a couple of minutes here before I can actually sit down. Oh dear, I hear this. You know what? I'm going to just have to pretend I'm cooking this somewhere. I'm going to just turn around. You can't see what I'm doing. That's what I advise. Look at the job done. Anyway. Yes, I have a rock. That's what you're hearing. It's a rock in a dish of paint. Here's the rock. I want to situate myself geographically. Well, let's see. What country are you in? That's a good start. Why on earth would I give that away to you, my dear? I just want to figure out where you are. cords, wires, cords. Ah. Okay. I got a cup of coffee right here, and I'm going to take it over there. Okay, because I've been working over here all morning. And now I'm going to work over here some of the afternoon. I have to do laundry at some point. Oh dear, I'm missing my seat, my very special seat. Let me get it. Okay, we can turn it off now a minute. God. It's a good thing I just ordered a couple of charging cables because I can't believe my phone is still charging. Anyway, okay, let's hi. Thank you. I do have a lovely apartment, actually. I like it very much. I am overall very happy here. So, there you have it. Oh yeah, the little Toblerone caps. So, I ordered a loom, and it's actually a beading loom, and that will enable me to make things with embroidery thread, which is a finer, closer together issue than I'm able to do with my regular loom. What warms your heart, that I'm buying a loom or that I love my apartment? Okay. So here is something funny. My first ex-husband just basically waved at me. He came across my artwork on Fine Art America, and of course I was in a funny mood, so I just snapped back, hey, and you didn't find Toblerone? So I gave him the link to the Toblerone website on Zazzle. No comment. I don't know, I think he may have gotten more serious over the last 30 years. It's been 30 years since we've spoken, I think, and are close to it. And he's very happy from what I can tell, I hope. I'm very happy. So I want him to be happy, of course. Actually, even when I wasn't happy, I still wanted him to be happy. But today is coincidentally his birthday. And I cannot remember how old he is. I'm older than him, though. So I went back to, even though I left off with like, have Merry Christmas to you and your wife and your daughter, it was like, oh yeah, P.S. Happy birthday. And I don't want him to think that I'm looking for more than, and you know what I mean? It's like it was strange to be even hear from him. We had a very happy divorce. We had a non-contested, no bullshit divorce. So we got along just great. We played cards together every Tuesday for the next 3 years after our divorce, actually. And I really missed, even after I got married, I did miss that camaraderie that we had, and just the ability to sit down and play a game of Bezique. So, you know, there's a part of me that misses the friendship. But once you were married, you don't keep those relationships going. It's not good. I mean, unless the wife is on board, and I guarantee his wife, who is been here for 30 years now, but she was just fresh from Japan. I guarantee you she did not want that white lady from the past being around her husband, you know. So not a problem. I know when to bow out, as long as he's happy. And he did say he's got a whole bunch of fruit trees, and he's always been an amazing gardener. So yeah, I'm happy for him. So happy birthday wherever you are. Well, actually, I know where you are, but I'm not going to say, Tommy. I wish you many more. And if you ever get divorced, I would love to play a game of cards. No, I'm not coming out to California. No way. No. But also by coincidence, the second ex is in the same town as you, which is really freaky. But since you two are absolutely nothing alike, yeah, I can't imagine what would bring you two together. Yeah. Anyway, he was a good guy. He's still a good guy wherever he is in his town. I'm sure he's having a good birthday. He retired, so he's definitely having a better birthday than having to go to work and do something he's not thrilled with. No, I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to have to, damn it, crochet it. I was hoping I could paper mache a foundation for this hat, because it's a good way to do costume stuff. And with this rice paper, thank you, Meg, this particular rice paper, it makes it super easy to build up. A friend just DM'd me. All right. Well, that's what friends are for. Okay, so what am I doing here? Toblerina is going to be supporting all women in buying the economy section of my newspaper. You would sell it? Why don't you just give it to them? It's a frickin' newspaper. You get a new one every week. You collect them, they just collect mold. Okay, let's go in here. These threads represent communication, because the newspaper isn't some change. It's $4.50, yeah. In the adult world, that's change, and besides, you're giving only a piece of it away. If is he a friend or just an acquaintance that you call a friend? It's a friend, you just give it to him because that's what people do. But if it's an acquaintance and you want your money back, go ahead. You will be remembered as a cheapskate after that. Just saying. Here it would be like, can you believe it? He charged for a used newspaper. Yeah, I thought you already read it. I wouldn't imagine he would ask for it or you would sell it or give it unless you'd already read it. Yeah, I understand. Well, that's it. They're called friendly acquaintances. And that's will make up the majority of people in our lives because we only have so much time for real friends. The world is complicated. It's moving quickly. We have shit to do. All right, kitty cats. Now try. This is goopy stuff. Interesting stuff. So, I saw a video, which, as mentioned in the title, of a big orange female cat carrying plastic bags of cat food. She would not accept a bowl of cat food. She would only accept the cat food if it was in a plastic bag. She'd grab the bag and take off. And the long and short is she turned out to be a nursing mother cat who had given birth to 5 kittens, but only 1 was left. And she and the kitten were rescued, but they were curious about this cat that only would take food in a plastic baggie and run off with it. It would never sit there and eat the food it was being given. And finally, with webcams and more people, they found her even after she moved, and because she apparently figured out that she wasn't alone anymore. And she took into a different place to be safe. So it was a happy ending, but there I am. Oh, I'm so glad they found it. They went and they got that cat and they rescued that cat. Oh. I didn't say all that, but that's what I was feeling. I was like, stop it, stop it. You have stuff to do. It's complicated because if he wants to have it, I need to read before you give him, and I only have so much time, so I haven't bothered doing that today. So only today did I manage, almost finish the economy one and the main one, and that's because I've been going to the cafe every morning for the past 5 days already, huh? With the exception of Sunday, and reading is kind of a headache. That's why you pick out these big fat books to read, and then you give yourself these impossible tasks. I'm going to read this whole thing so fast. Highly dubious that he'll buy it for any sustained period of time. Well, how do you buy it for any sustained period of time? You either buy it or you don't. It's yours or it's not. It's just a newspaper. There'll be another one in a few days. So, you can think about it logically. You can think about it any way you want. It's your newspaper. Well, I gather he doesn't have the money to buy the whole thing every week. So does he want it all the time, or he just needs it this 1 week, you know? Again, it's a newspaper. The information contained in it can very likely be found online. Into another kitty's ear. That's the money. He's just not going to pay for the whole thing because he doesn't want the whole thing. Oh, well, that's his problem then, isn't it? If you want the Sunday comics, you buy the whole thing. You know what I mean? If he has the money, then yes, you certainly shouldn't feel any kind of obligation to give him a bargain. And if he's going to do this every week, especially. But again, depends on what kind of friend and how close you want him to be in the future, you know. Most people, when they buy the whole thing, do not want to read the whole thing. You go through it, you see what gets your interest, and you pass on a good percentage of it. Unless you have a class assignment to read every word. Ah. We need this to come out. Should I add another color? That'll stand out more. Come on. I have to get extra testy with you, huh? go, hiding that. Hey now. Okay, good. We connected that dot. Maybe we will go down here. Oh, that'll work. I already have a piece cut. Let me see this right side up. Okay. If I do this. So hello everybody. Sitting here in the dark again, it looks like. It's not actually dark. Oh, my coffee's cold. I guess I should put the lid on and turn the heat under it on. Let me get a lamp. All the options. Here are the terms of my agreements. If you want this, I want that. If you want that, give me that too. The finagling, the bargain. Is it a bargain? Is it a deal? The commodity. It's almost like it was contraband. Secret knowledge being passed along. Oh, interesting. He's got a practical use for it. Ew, having to buy things for school out of your own pocket. Yes, they do, if you're talking about money. You track stocks and things like that. So if he wants the financial section, there might be more to it than he's saying. Well, if you're looking at the outcomes once a week, it basically gives you a rundown of everything that happened during the week and what the projection is for the following week. Isn't that right? Analysis, conjecture, projection. Cringe. I don't understand that at all. So, what did he conclude? To say fuck it? He'll see if he can find somebody else. Or he'll just buy it. Ah. Yeah, he sounds like a bit of a different kind of a person than you. Well, how you don't know how he works with stuff. He looks at things differently than you do. This is clear. Hmm. Yeah, I guess so. Can't leave that hanging there in the middle of nowhere. That just doesn't work. It's like having a stray cat. Yeah, well, it sounds like something you would take notes. Hello, Agnes. Well, maybe that's what he's trying to find out and doesn't want to have to pay $4.50 to find out. But I guess, you guys will work it out. That's something I would do. That's absolutely something I would do. I have met interesting people because of that. Taking down names and information from like, oh, I made a really good friend for years, listening to a radio show late at night. And I thought she was fascinating, so I sent her a note and we became friends. Not because of one note, that's what started it, you know, obviously. We were friends for years. And came out and visited me in California. And she was a doctor. That was cool. You never know. And you don't think the way everybody else thinks, and he doesn't think the way you think. So why would he approach things the way you do or see everything the way you do? For you, it's like, what are you going to do with this? But for him, it might be something that could be worth mining for information, for researching something else. Which, by the way, is something writers do. Take notes of what you read and what it inspires you to think about. And if there's anything useful for a project you're working off on the side with, then you write that down, or you make an asterisk, you cut out the article or whatever, and you put it in with all the stuff that you're using for research. There's lots of reasons for saving newspaper articles, or making notes on them or from them, even if it's just something historic. You don't know what he's into. So I guess he'll explain. It might be something really simple. The point is, it's not your business, really. All he's asked you for is, would you be willing to share or sell one section of a newspaper that he knows that you buy? He really doesn't have to explain exactly why. That's the thing he wants. You have it. Oh, that's you, and that's for your purpose at the moment. But you don't know what his purposes are or what he's thinking about. He may have plans for the future, and he's researching something or just watching something. So, how do you have a literal business of reading and forgetting things? That's a good one. I'm going to read and forget immediately. Test me. You'll see. I have not retained a thing. Which is like me in most high school. Actually, I retained quite a bit, but I've started forgetting and walking away from useless stuff, you carry around with you for half a century. It's like, oh, I'm not going to use that after all. All right, we're going to let this dry a little bit. I need to create some greenery for it because we're going to have our kitty cat Toblerina standing among the rushes. What do you want to be your literal business? We've been trying to get that out of you for a year. What do you want? Oh, this is a thought. Should I go with the yarn? She sent this gorgeous yarn. I don't know. This is really nice, and it's really small. This is more for weaving, crocheting. No, we're not going to use it that way. Look at that. A whole rainbow to work with here. Yay! All right, thinking. Oh, I have a ton of that. But is that what I really want? Aww. And give me snowflakes. It's cute. But not for this. Alright, papers. Let's see what we've got. Oh, rice paper is better. Okay. Our lovely collection. All right, so Toblerina is going to be somewhere here, here, here. Somewhere between here and here. So we've got to have things that come up. I don't want to obscure the cute little cat faces though. So we're going to have like trees, bushes, that kind of thing. Ooh, we had little ones here. Okay. Let's see what we have. What do you want to be when you grow up? I think I like that green better than this green. So we've got ooh. Now we're talking. Bring some of that brightness out to the sides here. What else do we have? It is kind of blue-greenish. Not sure if I want that or not. Let's just set that over here. Too dull. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, aren't these gorgeous? The brain is working too fast. I have to slow it down a minute. I am being flooded with ideas. Oodles and oodles of ideas. I have to slow it down. Okay. Okay. Be right back. Val, pass water. If you could inject an Oreo with steroids and turn it peppermint, this is what you would have. Trader Joe's dark chocolate covered peppermint JoJo's. Now, I heard of JoJo's years ago, but I did not know what it was. All I heard was, oh, have you had their JoJo's? And I would have to say, no, no. But no one ever said, here, have a JoJo, and now you know what it is. I had no clue, but this is a JoJo. If you haven't seen this yet, it's like a super high-end quality Oreo. I've got the chocolate cookies. They're way better. A cream that has little bits of peppermint in it. It's like, whoa. Now that's a cookie. Okay. All right. Now, these are extremely messy. I have to sit back a little bit and eat it with a tissue because the chocolate is not tempered chocolate and it starts melting the second I touch it. So, oh my, that's good. Peppermint. And coffee. My last few sips of coffee. It's finally heating up to drinking temperature. As you might have gathered over the years, I'm not a fan of cold drinks. See? This just saved a whole bunch of crumbs. And I know that looks like chocolate on my apron, but it's paint. We were doing gingerbread houses this year. And I dropped one while I was working on it. Well, that's what aprons are for. All right. Now, after putting all of this down, sparkle stuff I wanted, the colors are just so wrong, and I have to change it. So floppy. Okay. I was hoping this would be representative of night and day and night, you know. But it's just not doing it. Gotta go tell my dad we shouldn't buy the stuff this Saturday, because then they might not let me return stuff. You know, even without them saying that almost everything, you got a 30-day warranty automatically to return things. If you buy stuff before and including, yeah, remember when he said we could do it tomorrow? Yes. I thought that was, let's talk tomorrow. He didn't say he would do it. I was pretty sure he just said we'll talk about it tomorrow, because it was kind of like the end of the day. Was that not right? Oh, there you go. You got a commitment. We'll do it, not talk about it. And you don't think your father knows the rules? Everything about Amazon and everybody else, their sites are made to develop a sense of urgency in people to make them buy. But it's bullshit. You have 30 days to return anything. And if anything doesn't work or you're unhappy, you return it right away. Amazon is really good with taking stuff back. Well, yeah, kinda. Let's hope you win-win. A win-win means you both win, your father wins, and you win. A win-win for you does not exist. It means I get two things I wanted. Win and win. Okay. I see what I need here. I need sun. Look at these colors right here. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh my God, they're all so gorgeous. I want sunrise on the top. The sun rises. But over blue, it looks gross. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Do that, we're going to have green sky. Ew. Nice on the pink. Okay on the white. No good on the blue. I have to think. All right. Be right back. see you when you return. I like that cookie. All right, alternatives. We have blues and purples. Ooh, all right, wait a second. That might work. How far down? Just a couple inches. Okay, do a little extra. Woo. What a beautiful purple this is. Now, oh, how am I going to cover that? That's not going to work, is it? I guess I could paint it. I'm ruining the sparkles anyway. Poor planning on my part. Oh dear. That's right. Save that color for Amber Ruffin. She looks sensational in that. Come here, dear. Oh, yes. I'm planning something bodacious for her. For her toe, not for her. I only create gifts for people's big toes now. Although I have some other gifts that are not for the toe waiting to go. It will work. Not what I had in mind originally, but I can get this to work. All right, but now I need to do it in a peculiar way. Thinking. I think I have it. Maybe. It looks pretty smooth. swear this was made to do that. All right, this is the stuff I do everything, almost everything, to avoid getting it all over my skin. It's not harmful, it's just stubborn. And because I tend to dive into my work sometimes and grab things with my hands, I end up with things like this. Where was this stuff when I was playing guitar and needed fake calluses? I don't know if that would actually work. If that was my problem, I would be playing guitar, but it's actually my messed up tendons that prevent that. But if I do it again, I'll remember this stuff. I get a little bit on my fingers, and then it's like 2 days to get this stuff off unless I use chemistry, and I don't want to. So, like, all right, I should have no feeling in the ends of my fingers. Coffee. My 1 cup in a day. All right, here we go. The experiment has begun. We pour out this very much thinned down, also known as diluted, gloss, medium, and varnish by Liquitex. And this is what I'm going to be trying to do. And I'm going to have to move it a little closer. Whoop, don't go anywhere, little ears. Okay. God help us here. This is not a very absorbent background, and actually that's working in my favor with this idea. I don't want it to be absorbed before I can position the tissue paper over the wet parts, let them soak in, and then tear away the stuff that's not gooey. Okay. Please work the way I envision it. Right there. Why didn't you pick up? There. Just stay right there. Go in. No. We're gonna find out real soon. I've got just a little, there, get that off there, a little thread of purple. We don't want any purple threads over here. This is where we're gonna be putting this gorgeous peach color, which will intensify over here. It's gonna be so pretty. But let's make sure we're doing this the way I planned. did not. I will therefore return that. All right, just dry. When it's dry, I should be able to tear off all of the untreated tissue paper. So I'm going to turn this around. We're going to work on the other side of it. Right here. Let's move some stuff out of my way. Come on. Like a little puddle. Oh, right next to me. Okay. Oh, don't go in there. I don't want it to stick to the thread. That would ruin the whole effect. So I'm going to try and get that off while it's wet. It's plain water here. Now the thing is, in tissue paper, this makes a nice clean cut. But this is not tissue paper, it is rice paper. And it has lots of fibers, which of course is the beauty of it. But also, it can be very tricky to work with. Now, I'm just running the tweezers underneath it, between the thread and the paper, and hoping that that will be enough. Drying nicely. Okay. And now either it's hot flash time or they got the heat fixed. I guess I'll find out soon. Where's my phone? think I just heard something. Okay. A little tricky, but we might have gotten it. We will not know if this worked for a few minutes, at least a few minutes. Probably more like about 20 minutes to an hour. Let me go see what that sound is. Okay. No, it was just telling me my Instagram has 9 new followers. I wonder what I put up there. I can't remember now. Well, I am afraid to do anything more with that for now. So let me just turn this around. Dry, so I can see what I have to do next. Probably some more repair of some kind. It's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. It is an experiment. Okay, and I wanted to put plants, grasses here, and what am I going to use for that? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's going to end up being 6, I guess. I really like this color. The problem with the colored papers like this is you have to buy sets, you know, where you get one of each color, that kind of thing. You can't just say, I need 6 sheets of this color. At least not here, maybe in China or Japan. Here it's way harder to get quantities without also investing in quantities of what you don't want. Not back yet. It's a battle I'm fighting here. Well, you have time to let me know about it, so at least you're not using guns. What's the widest one? What's the tallest one? Oh, itchy. I might be able to keep that. We're gonna keep that because I'm making grass right now, and that's might work. too small to work with. Two off to the side. Okay. What if we do it that way? Straighten up. Another green. Taller greens, different green. Need a different green. Too dark, too bluish, too vague. We're gonna have to go with vague. Okay, what if? Go with her. All right. Let's make some more this time. Oh, that's got some real thick threads in that. It's not very much. What time is it? It's getting dark. It's only 2:45. What the hell? It's supposed to be getting longer days right now. Are we expecting weather? I suppose I should check. I have not looked at the weather for at least a day. Okay. Oh. Oh, very well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Daisy. Canario. Maybe the other way. Maybe inside out. Do I do everything the hard way? Sometimes. It's better. A little clumsy, but we'll get it. Yes, that's more what I'm looking for. We want Toblerina to be like a cat, okay? In the grass here. So we'll make some more. Yeah, okay, I think I'm on to it now. We're gonna do that. And down here, there you go. What if I should get carried away and make little flowers? I don't know. Let's do one thing at a time, and this needs to be done first. Let's use the last of this up. Da, 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 ba, da, 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 da. Ba, da, da, ba, da, da, da. Let's get this down there better. Okay. Okay. Just the bottom. Okay. We have made some progress, and let's see where we're at. Okay, Toblerina's model areas to go. We're gonna sit this over here. We're gonna have to make some more. We're gonna just use plain green over there after we get our other stuff here. They're all, you know, the flora and fauna differ according to where you're standing. All right, so how did this go? Still wet there, still damp, not so damp. All right, what do we have? How about we use good old X-Acto? All right, now I do like to curl my stuff over to the back. And I think for this, we're just going to use a little bit of this crazy glue. Oops, sorry about that. I want to use this up, actually, so I can move on to a different glue altogether and learn how to work with that. Yeah. How about we just lay you down? There you go. Okay. A little rhythm helps. If I have some, it'll help. Get the excess out right away. Lovely. Just lovely. Well, the purples are next. And just so you know, this is a non-stick surface here. It helps when you're working with sticky things. Okay. I must send a message. Oh, my friend Carol sent me a YouTube video and I haven't seen it. Amanda Holden's feet on BGT judging. Britain's Got Talent. Oh, that's cute as hell. Okay. That's cute. Uh-huh. Very, very cute. Thank you, Carol. You're right. Oh, that I can get rid of. And happy almost New Year. If it would only spell what I'm asking it to spell and kind of keep giving me other words I'm not asking for and then making me have to waste time erasing the word and coming up with the right word. Don't help, thank you. Okay, I will get an answer to that later. Okay. And phones. Pardon me. Messengerity. How did it go? Okay. Right. Oh. Okay, let's see how this worked. Please do not stick where I didn't want you to. You did not go down there. We're going to have to fix you. All right, a little bit of this did not stick. I'm going to have to, well, I guess I'm going to have to leave it. If I mess with it too much, it's going to look weird. All right, so we're going to have to batten down the hatches here. Trim off a little excess. Excuse me. Excuse me. Lovely. Hey. And now, this is still gooey. Oh, good. Oh, easy now. Now, a little bit there did not batten down. This is going to be a little trickier than I planned. Now that's a thick thread there. And it's stuck to the other thread. There we go. Phew. Now we do have a little bit of a mess right there. Damage control. Stay there. It needs to be a little wetter. I'll have just the cure. And I think we should do that there as well. All right. And now I must let this sit. Meg, yes, it is a background for Toblerina. Toblerina in the Concrete Jungle. I am doing this one for Women's Month. National Women's Month. 4 doubloons? Or is that 40 doubloons? What does that mean, dear? You're cutting deals left and right today, so you'll have to explain a little further. So, yeah, Meg, this is the connections of women. Oops. From city to suburbs. It's 49 euros. And what does that mean? Yeah, not yet, but you're learning. So, 49 euros, and that means what? From who, for what? You know, it's like you're totally out of context here. Catch us up as if you're telling us about a movie. We're missing the plot. 28 bucks for the notebook, 10 for the pen, 10 for ink and refills. Oh, bravo, bravo. So, businessman, when are you going to get your tools of the trade? Oh, wait a minute, we got a little triangle in here we gotta fix. I did not see that. It's my eyes. And possibly inadequate. Where'd it go? There. How did I miss that? And the compass on the 5th, everything else on the 3rd. Well, congratulations. Took some arguing. Really? You had to argue over a pen and notebook? I'm sorry to hear it. Oh, give me your point back. Well, you're talking about a fountain pen, which is not something you've had before. Well, why would you want to return it? It's a fountain pen. You use it. Once you use it, it's yours. What? Important business. I think it's like, huh? Wait. Well, I don't know what you have to deal with. What's the big deal if he's got the code? You get the other. Oh shit, I just tore that. Ugh. Oh, well, there you go. Wait a second, I had more purple, right? Yes. Need some weird shapes here. on, pick up. Holy mackerel, who are all these people? Anything else? Hi, Sally. He's 17. He's our youngest regular. How are you? Merry Christmas. Happy almost New Year. Good Kwanzaa. Hey, come here. Okay, now it's looking more like a night, a weird night sky. Okay, I love the depth of purple, so we're gonna just leave that. Oh, I gotta curl it around. All right. Let's see. Do I have enough left? Maybe. Thank you. Not everybody on Twitch comes here, you know, to see me. Some people are YouTube originals. I've actually had this channel since, what, 2008? Something like that? It's been a long time. I've got some stuff up from that. Ha. Okay. Making headway. Our first background of the year for next year's calendar. So Sally, check it out. Ta-da! Toblerina's first calendar. I can only afford to get a small one, but it's got all 12 of the backgrounds and costumes. Be like, who's this doc something? Oh, right. Well, yeah. Maui is an easy one. Ms. Mango may not be from Twitch at all. Okay, where did I leave off? Cleaning up a little. Come on, are you ready to come up yet? Am I going to break a nail on you? I didn't. All right. Let's clean up. Okay. All right, so next on the agenda for this Sally. I'm afraid he does not. Sally's not bitter. She's just asking you because when somebody comes into the room, they see page after page of you talking. And most adults are not interested in some of the things that you're talking about. But you can't really complain because I do state that this station is for 18 and older. So, you know, you can't expect everybody to have the same level of tolerance, Charlie. Not everybody wants to hear it. Yeah, Charlie has all that 17-year-old energy. And he doesn't vent it elsewhere very well, or often, or much, or maybe at all. Well, we are generally more patient with Charlie because of his age. But, you know, my indulging only goes so far as well. But we like Charlie in general. And 17 is a really, it's a difficult age. Also, he's not an American. And I think that also is why he doesn't have as many places to talk about some things. Americans are way more open about some subjects. I'm going, okay, and this belongs where? I rolled this up to go with something. Oh, it does match that. I'll put it in here. Save or throw? Save for the moment. Well, Charlie, think about, is how we're perceived by others who don't have a chance to know us. And questions come up. Just about to shut up. Well, there's no arguing going on. And Charlie is here almost every show. And we've been waiting to see how this fountain pen challenge gets resolved. And now it has been resolved, and one is on the way. Okay, well that's plenty, I think. I'll be able to work it in up here. Maybe. Who are you asking that of? Amy Farrah Fowler had a good answer to that question. Subject to a decay and entropy, just like everything else. I thought so. All right. We have really lost a lot of light. Those clouds are looking... I didn't realize we had that kind of clouds. Let me look. Oh my goodness. I'd call that cloud cover for sure. What do you know? Here, as we get ready to ring in another year, it's always a good time. I like changes, big changes, like change of going back to school in the fall, September, big changes. Puts me into a little bit of a melancholic state, and I have to reflect about all my previous Septembers. Now, of course, I'm way out of school, so I just reflected around the new year. Well, I reflect all year, but let's face it, turning of the year is a time to take stock of what we've done over the year, where we want to go in the next year, it's a good time to stop and think. And as we know from meditation, if you listen or hear and don't react, you learn a lot more, especially about oneself. Now, one of the things I'm going to bring back this year on Sunday morning Twitch, we're going to start doing the meditation again to start the show on Sunday mornings. Now, we used to do every show with meditations and cards, but I felt that, especially after a few years of my own stuff having to be dealt with, I needed a break. And frankly, when you are doing all the talking and you're not getting the feedback that you want to see, you have to make some decisions. And I decided to stop doing cards for a little while because I don't want people getting reliant on cards. It's not about the cards. The cards are supposed to inspire thought. And hopefully that thought will lead to inspired action. But I can't do that for you. I can only show a card, and so we can discuss things that come up and ways to overcome challenges, way to work things through. And we can do all of that if you want to talk about it. But I stopped doing the cards because people, not everybody, people were just getting a card like an automatic thing and not really reflecting on the messages. And the messages were not meant to foretell any future. We don't do fortune telling here, and I never have. But, I mean, well, years ago, people came to me for fortune telling, and I realized after a very short time that we are in charge of tomorrow. We have to make decisions. We've got to take actions. And whatever we do is going to influence tomorrow. We're creating right now. So it's important for us to learn how to observe things going on, observe what's being said, and not react, but think about it, and then choose to act. Well, I am willing to give anybody a card upon request. In fact, in this show, you still have ability to redeem points for cards at any time. I don't have all 35 decks out here until I get more shelving. They're under my bed. But I do have the Trust Your Vibes deck, and on my Kindle, which for some reason is not in front of me, my Kindle, I've got 6 or 7 digital decks, and I'd be glad to share them, and we can talk about that. So I don't want anybody to feel deprived of the cards if they want them. I'm just not making it the main feature of the show right now. First of all, there's no need to apologize for any of that. That's not it. At your age, Charlie, just like when I was your age, at your age, I would expect you to be a little arrogant, a little know-it-all, but seeking knowledge and just getting used to being a human being. So there's so much to take in that you're going to fuck up no matter what you do. That's because you're just a young human, and young humans, that's how we learn many significant lessons, by screwing up. But you have to at least be encouraged to try, because it's better to try and screw up than not to try at all and hide from life. Oh, well, then apologies accepted for anything you may have done to step on my toes over the last year. And you are welcome to ask for a card anytime. Because, like I said, some people abuse it and some people don't know how to use them. And I know here on YouTube especially, I'm really concerned about bringing the cards back up, because I know there's a lot of fortune tellers out there. And they are the very thing that I railed against for 15 years. I beg people, please learn how to read your own cards. Learn how to look inside. Learn how to meditate. You'll be way more powerful as a psychic for your own life if you do that for you. But if you're expecting other people to show you the way all the time, you tend to get lazy and think that, well, it's like an easy answer. And it's great to hear it, but if it's not encouraging you to think about something, it's not good. It's not working. For next year in advance? Sure. Okay, we're taking ethologies right now. You can do that on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. You can do it on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, when we apologize to everyone in the world that we screwed up with. And of course, apologizing to that which we call God. The God that does not expect apologies. Like, we're all just busy trying to figure out how to be human and how to get through our lives. And every time we think we've got something figured out, life is going to throw us a curveball. So there's a young man, I say young because he's only 55. He keeps asking me every week, he says, when is it going to end when there's some bad news? Now, he's had a really rough year. He lost his mother, he lost his brother, all within a few months of each other, and all within the last 6 months. So it's been a hard time for me. Also, he doesn't have the best coping skills because he also happens to be autistic. Now he's living on his own in an apartment, taking care of himself like a responsible adult, but he's dealing with this grief. And every time he hears about something going wrong for somebody, it's becoming exaggerated. And he's more and more worried that, like, oh my God, when is it going to end? Is it just going to be bad news after bad news after bad news? And there's times in our lives, for everyone, it's going to feel like that. It seems like, how people say, oh, bad things happen in threes. That's not really true. But we do start counting sometimes, like, oh my God, what else is going to go? Yeah, life can totally suck at times, and it will on and off throughout our lives. It's not like we're going to have these long periods of peace and everything goes perfectly, because that's just not natural. This whole world is trying to destroy us, all right? We're temporary objects on this planet. Everything could take us down, and more so depending on where we're living, like, I'm sorry, but although I'm not terribly afraid of spiders, the ones in Saudi Arabia terrify me, and I'm not going anywhere near there just because of spiders. Well, there's a lot more reasons I wouldn't go there, but yeah, spiders. So, this depends on where you are, what age you are, what your experiences have been. The older you get, and the more you have been paying attention, and the more responsibility that you take for your own decisions and your choices and your actions, the easier it gets. It really does get easier. It doesn't mean you are going to be spared the crap of life. Every time you turn around, there's going to be something. I mean, look, I try to live as authentic a life as I possibly can, and still a weird thing happened over the weekend. The local public utilities was worried about some pressure dropping from some burst pipes and blah, blah, and whatever happened. They turned up the pressure on the gas, and it knocked our furnaces out, which they were supposed to do. If the gas pressure goes up, rather than explode, it shuts off. So by the time the calls were going out to our maintenance guy on Christmas Day, it was already 2 tanks of hot water for our hot water, and our heating were cold. So it's been, I didn't do anything to deserve cold water or having to, thank goodness, turn on a little space heater that I have to stay warm. But it's just one of those things of life. I'm one of the people being influenced by my surroundings. So, not the worst thing. Oh, there you go. Aloha. Oh, thank you, Meg. And Doc, I totally get it. And women are going, where are the sane men? Where are just the regular guys? The ones who, well, depending on what we want. I'm in a certain place in my life that is partially influenced by my illness and my medication. So how I would be if I did not have this weird blood cancer and if I wasn't on chemo every day, then I don't know. I might be one horny old lady. Right now, though, that's not my reality. um, I am happy to, like I said, I need some more shelves. That's just the way it is. I don't have the money right now for them. Even the little ones I was looking at are, 20, 30, $40 a pop. And I have to have things right now that I can screw into the wall because there's really no more floor space for standing shelves at the moment. It's a small apartment and I love it, but it does require, as I bring things in, readjusting, and eventually I will have all the cards available to you. So I love doing the cards. It's not that I don't, like I said, it's just some people. And also there's a little bit of sadness with them right now because one of our regulars from the Blog TV days passed away this year. It's been a really rough year. Hold on, let's see. I'm live on YouTube at the moment. So one thing we all have in common, regardless of our ages, is that it takes some work to stay sane in a world that is so diverse. And that diversity includes a lot of insanity. So yeah, it's good to stick together and look for logical things and try to stay grounded, because there's always going to be something that tries to sweep us off our feet. From a wild wave coming out of the ocean to falling in love and getting a new pet. All these things, they're big life changes, and it's wonderful to be able to share them with you. I have valued all you guys and gals for years now, being able to come here and just talk about real life. So I appreciate you being patient with me, because I go through shit. You've been here for me for a very 14 years. 14 years of streaming. So it's changed over the years, especially this year. This last year, January 1st, everything changed. The format went from cards to art. And of course, right now I'm focusing on Toblerina. I really want to turn that project into a business so I can improve my situation instead of just, bemoan the fact that I'm stuck with certain realities. It's like, okay, how can I work around them? Yeah, the hills and valleys. There you go. Exactly, Doc. That's life, right? Right? Something tragic happens, something bummer happens. We just get a new diagnosis of something bizarre, and we go right down like we're skiing without brakes. And then something wonderful happens, and we find ourselves surrounded by friends who are there to bolster us when we're going through shit, and boom, we're back up. So we have to just look at how we can survive the down times and how we can stand by each other, and through it all, try not to bitch about it too much. It's easy to get caught in that. And the worst thing we can ever do is get stuck in the, oh, woe is me. It's all about me, me, me. And when it's like that, no one wants to listen, and it becomes a bummer. But the most important part of that is if you're stuck in just talking about how shitty things are, you're helping create more shit for your future. Or what we talk about, what we feel about, is helping create our future, because it's planting emotional seeds in our path. So even if you're not projecting it directly, like, oh, in 5 years I want to be here, which is a good way to plant positive seeds for yourself. It's just wherever you're feeling at the moment is just getting like a rabbit going around your garden pooping out little round turds. You ever see rabbit shit? It's really funny. But anyway, aside from that, that's how we act a lot of the times. We're just bopping along, running around the garden, get a little food here, leave a little poop there. Life is like that. So don't focus on the poop. Focus on the greens that there are to eat. and even better, learn how to plant some of those greens. There was an expression that this Spanish chef who does this world food thing, I never remember his name because you know how I'm just getting worse and worse with names, but one of the things he says, and one of the things I agree with, and I've seen this on a church billboard, and it's don't build longer tables instead of higher walls. Basically, give everybody a seat at the table, and then we can truly have peace and equality. Everybody needs to be in on the game. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs support, just at different times of our lives and different amounts at those times of our lives. So here's this awesome chef. He's very funny, great sense of humor. From what I understand, his restaurants are very expensive, but he's taken that money and more and feeding people who would otherwise be starving to death. So I saw a comment under one video that his restaurant in Las Vegas on the Strip. Now, if you've ever been to Las Vegas on the Strip, you cannot find more expensive real estate. So you're going to have to charge an arm and a leg basically to keep your doors open. So I'm sure that he's keeping his doors open and he's helping bring more fame, but he is dedicated to saving lives through food, and he sees food as love. And so when he's sharing the food, he's sharing the love. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's very Christ-like. And how can I not appreciate a spirit like that in this world? So if you think about just life and how crazy it can get, think about your position in the moment. Think about where you want to be in the future and start planting those seeds. I want to see Toblerina making some money so that when my income goes up $10, I don't have to freak out because now my food stamps dropped by $10. And I don't even want to be on food stamps. But when you're reliant, if you don't make enough money, you need to eat. And so you gratefully accept those food stamps. And believe me, I am very grateful. But that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be reliant on a public fund so that I can eat. So it's become extremely important. Even though I'm technically retired and all that, I want to come out of retirement. I want to create a new life even at this age. And I'm not looking at my age. Actually, I'm not looking at the challenges because I already know from my previous life's experience, or should I know this life, but previous experiences in this life, which has been like other lives. I know it can be done. I know a lot of it is luck and timing, but I don't have anything else to do, right? I sit here and entertain you guys, and I'm entertaining myself at the same time, and I'm working on my project at the same time. So while I'm having fun with you, I'm having fun planning the future. So I know that what I'm doing for me is not what everybody would do, and that's good. I don't want everybody doing what I'm doing. But everybody has to find their own way. And I've had a lot of jobs in the last 68 years. And I've loved a lot of them, surprisingly. Did not make a bunch of money in most of them, but I did love everything I've done. Even factory work. As a matter of fact, I got my first factory job because I was between gigs. I was working with a rock and roll band, and we broke up. And I was dating the bass guitarist, and he wanted to retire from music and get married to me. And I was like, I am just 21, and I'm not getting married, and I'm not giving up music. I just got started. So we broke up too, and I found myself in a weird position. They're like, oh my God, I'm 21 and I'm starting my life all over again. But now I'm doing it without my boyfriend and without the band. And all I knew was that I really wanted to stay alive. So I took this factory job, which was not far from my house. And I learned what it was like to work in a condemned building under horrible conditions. I learned what it was like to be a wave maker and demand better conditions for my fellow workers. And I also learned how politics takes care of that in people like me. I got promoted into management because when they promoted me to management, that meant I had to leave the union. And once I couldn't go to the union meetings anymore, I couldn't bitch about how my fellow workers were being treated. They promoted me out of the ability to make waves. So that was unexpected. And if I had realized what they were doing, I would not have accepted the promotion. So I have learned that when you make enough waves, people like to shut you up. And there's many creative ways to do that, short of actually killing you. But anyway, I worked in this factory, and I liked it. It wasn't that I liked all the conditions. Like I said, I was almost immediately fighting for my coworkers. They kept me because I was good at what I did. And then when they promoted me, I was really good at what I did. But I didn't have the voice I had. But I also learned that in promoting me, I was given a power. I could tell somebody else what to do. And so when I could not get done from the inside with the union, which seemed like the laziest damn thing ever, it's like, wait a minute, I'm paying union dues. Why aren't you helping us protect ourselves if this is a union? Anyway, that was a frustration. But then I discovered that when I got the promotion, I was given the power to tell somebody to do what I'd been fighting for. I said, okay, this is your job tonight. I want you to replace all these rusty nails with clean nails so that my girls are not scratching themselves and having to go out and get a tetanus shot. So I did accomplish what I ultimately did, which, by the way, one of the things I was actually fighting for, mind you, this was on a second shift and then third shift, meaning late at night. I was fighting for light bulbs in the girls' room. It was the darkest girls' room I'd ever seen in my life, and it was scary. And I did not like the idea of women. And by the way, we were all women except for two people. I didn't like the idea of women having to go into a bathroom alone in the dark. So silly me. So I did get light bulbs, and I would have gone out and bought the light bulbs myself, except factories, ceilings way up where I couldn't get to them. So yeah, I would do what I could to change it myself. But if I couldn't, you have to rely on the system. The systems are confusing, crazy, but you keep going. So there's a big advantage to working in factories, by the way. You punch in and you punch out, and you do not take your job home with you. You just don't care that much. I loved it. What do I mean, girls' room? We used to call it the girls' room. Or we can call it the ladies' room, but back then, girls' room, boys' rooms, it was pre-icon, pre-pictures on the bathroom doors. It was an old, old factory. The building was over 100 years old. It was condemned. It was 102 degrees in there where I worked in the middle of the night, with a bunch of windows broken out in the middle of winter. They didn't have to replace. It was so hot in there that even broken windows in winter here in New England was not enough to cool it down. And they had to keep it 102 because we were working with molten lead. So we had to keep it molten. We made things like clock coils, things to help run your clocks, and a bunch of other things. We also made fire extinguishers there. So it was an interesting company. And then all that changed because one day I was working with everybody, and I had, yes, a bathroom. Yeah. I was working with tools, and I was training somebody, and I heard the sound, and I looked down, and I realized that I had dropped my wire cutters
and they hit the ground, and I didn't even feel it leave my hand, and that's why I started realizing I was having nerve problems, and that led to major back surgery, which was a big surprise. And that's how I ended up leaving that job, because I couldn't go back and do what I was doing after the surgery. Because when I got out, I was going to be in a body cast for a year, and that was a drag. So I found myself, after going through all of that, having to change jobs. So you never know what's going to happen. I wasn't expecting back surgery or having to find another job. So, yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm saying my attitude is always to find the best in whatever situation I'm stuck in. Sometimes that meant that I stayed longer in a situation which I would have done better if I just left. I don't even have my mouse near me. What is that, Doc? Anyway, I guess the bottom line is really simple. Shit happens. We get through it. Keep trying to get through it. Try to get through with your head held high. Try to get through with your morals intact. Just get through it. Try not to complain. Complaining doesn't help. It just makes you look like an idiot. Meeting in the ladies' room? Oh. Whoops. Okay, well that's going to be kind of delicate and silly. All right, so we have here, oops, her Toblerina's wings for another board. Ah! Well, okay, that was close. Let's put this away before I deposit all of this amazing, gorgeous, but look at the color. Is this not... Oh, the camera doesn't show it as beautiful as it is. This is a gorgeous burgundy. I mean, yummy. Okay. I don't want anything to happen to this precious paper. I love it too well. Okay. A song. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Oh, there's my Kindle. Silly thing. All right. I put song on. I put song on. I put the song on, and then I go resonate and be right back. So here is one of my originals, today's original. It's really all right. You won't need it to stay warm. You're so afraid of my affections. You could drown in your own storm. There's no need for reservation. No one else can see. After some examination, man, I think that you've got what I need. It's really alright. It's really alright. It's really alright if you don't love me. What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, that cold-hearted landscape or me? What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So, if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, a cold-hearted landscape or me? Okay, so what you're talking about is feng shui in your life. It's a good thing to do every year. Every year. Look at what you've got. How long have you been carrying it around with you? If you were going to move today, what would you really want to take into your new life? These questions are harder to answer than people think. It's not so simple, right? You start looking at stuff and you realize your emotional attachment to things. But this is where you want to start drawing the line. Start looking at things with the emotional attachment first. Is the emotional attachment good or bad? And it's like, you know, I remember reading about a woman, as a matter of fact, I've talked to people like this. They got married, they had their wedding rings, gorgeous set, you know, designer stuff, you know, the engagement ring with the big stone or stones and the wedding band. They go together, they look so nice, they spend so much time picking them out, she wears them for 10 years, they get divorced. You don't give back your rings during a divorce, let's face it, all right? Unless it was some inherited thing and you already had an agreement that if you should break up, that ring goes back to your husband. But no, the thing is, maybe in looking at that jewelry, no matter how beautiful it is, every time you put it on, even if it's not on the wedding ring finger, you put it somewhere else, you wear it as a pinky ring, whatever, it's going to always remind you of that marriage, whatever was wrong in the marriage, whatever was good in the marriage, but most of all, it's going to remind you of the ending of the marriage, because if you're not married anymore and you're wearing the wedding rings, all right, you got a problem. But on top of that, even if you're not wearing them, you just can't let them go because, well, they cost a lot of damn money. But at the same time, you can't really get yourself to sell them. You see, you paint yourself in an emotional corner there. You've got this jewelry that every time you see it, it's reminding you of, in the end, nothing good. Those wonderful memories that you shared with somebody will always be in your heart. And that's fine. And in a lot of cases, that's where you have to leave them, in your heart. Do not have them in your environment because it'll keep reminding you not of the good stuff, not of what you want to create in the future, but the past, the negative past. So even if initially it's painful to let go of something, look for ways to get rid of it. If it's jewelry and you don't want to pass it on to somebody, sell it. Get rid of it. You don't need those stones or that metal. I mean, what I do at my wedding band, actually, I did not want to lose the diamond. I really liked that little diamond, and I couldn't see the sense in getting rid of it. But I did find a jeweler who melted down all the gold, preserved my diamond and attached it to another ring or a little filigree chevron. Super simple but very feminine, and I liked it. I had him put the diamond on the chevron, and wedding set gone. I'm never reminded of that wedding set again. Now, unfortunately, the diamond still does remind me. So I don't wear that ring. So what a waste of time. Because it feels so wasteful. Oh yes, absolutely. I totally am with you on that. We try to find a new home, rehome stuff that you can. I'm not saying just because it's a negative in your life that it's not going to be a positive in someone else's. I love used furniture. I have a couple of pieces. Actually, I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces, 4 pieces. This table, I love this table. And I think this table was free with 4 little chairs like this one. And not comfortable, I will admit. But I think it was free if you came and got it and took it away. So, you never know. You know, one man's treasure and all that. Give it away. Clothing, definitely donate it. Goodwill is always in need of good clothes. Why? Because now we've got the eBay people that go to the Goodwill and get all the good stuff before the truly poor people can get what they need to wear, like me. Most of my wardrobe came from Goodwill, and I'm proud of that because I'd rather upcycle or reuse something than have it go to a landfill. So it should be a good resolution to every year go through your stuff, especially clothes. If you're not going to wear it, dump it. If you don't look good in it, if it doesn't, when you put it on, if it doesn't make you feel like a queen or a king, out. It should make you feel good. The color, the fit, the feeling of the fabric, all of that is on your body. It's this body, your only body, right? You got one body. Enjoy it. So take care of it. I got this thing for pink when I was living across the street. I didn't have any pink in my wardrobe because just the weirdness of my disease made me kind of like, I just stopped anything warm, any warm colors. I weeded out of my wardrobe, not even consciously. One day I reached in my closet and I realized my whole closet was black, blue, and gray. I was like, there was no pink, there was no red, there was not even burgundy, no green. I was like, what the hell happened here? And I finally started adding it up. It's like, oh, red used to be my favorite color. And suddenly, because I was always hot from this blood thing, I stopped reaching for hot colors. And now it's like, oh, okay. So the first thing I did when I understood that was, let's get some pink. Let's get some color back in the wardrobe. So I found this sweatshirt and went for it. You know, we all have different reasons for buying things. We're organizing and reorganizing. Still can't find anything. Hold on. Excellent. I'm with you on that. We should all be that way. You know, nothing taught me appreciation for clothing more than weaving. The first time I sat down to weave something, and then I realized, as if I was just born, that I was sleeping on sheets, that they give you a count, like 300 count, 600 thread count, 1,000, 800, whatever. It's like, think about it for a second. That it means that the warp is 1,000 frickin' threads across. That's very, very crammed in there, and they're weaving with it. And as soon as you see how fine that thread is, think about what it took to make that thread. That means a fiber is twisted until it sticks to itself to make that twist stay. And then that is a thread. And you've got to do this over and over and over and collect all these threads and make something out of it. It's like, and now because we have machines that can knock that shit out, where it would take me and a village a year to make this carpet, they can knock out super thin, super cheap crap that ends up in the landfill because it's so poor a quality that within one season of wearing it, it stretches, it warps, it frays, it pills. It's ugly. It's cheap. And it's bad for the environment from every angle. Every angle. So why should we keep contributing to the fast fashion problem? We should become more aware of what we're wearing. It's much better for you to save up a little money, buy something worth investing in. Your clothes is an investment. It's going on your body. Like I said, you should be comfortable in it. It's your second skin. You're choosing it, right? Now, I know, well, pretty much all of you have seen me with my, I wear some of my sweatshirts inside out. I don't do it as a fashion statement. I know some people think I'm weird for doing it. Some think it's cute. It's just a matter of what your perception is. But I can't stand things stuck around my neck, so I usually cut the necks out, which makes them fall. I have scoliosis, so it always falls over my left shoulder. Things always fall off. So it's not a fashion statement. It's just what happens. The reason I wear them inside out is because it's softer against my skin. After a while, the inside of these things pills up, right? If it's not an expensive piece of material, it just gets harder and scratchier, and I feel that, and I don't like that. So this side, the outside, tends to be softer and smoother. So I turn it inside out. Now, I only do this, obviously, with cheap clothes to begin with. Anything I have that's really good doesn't have to be turned inside out to be comfortable. But yeah, if you're intentional, less impulsive, the question, now I filed bankruptcy when I was with my second husband, and we had to. He stopped working. He didn't work for 8 years, and I could not maintain us. So after a while, after about 8 months of paying all the bills, I realized this is unsustainable. We'll starve to death. There's no way I can pay all these bills on my own. So we had to file bankruptcy. And they teach you, because you can't just file bankruptcy and like, oh, I'm going to write all this off. There's absolutely rigid rules about filing bankruptcy. It's basically saying there is no way I can do this in a reasonable amount of time, or time that will make all of these companies happy. They can't write off the debt. They can't even out their books until I even out mine. Mine is saying, can't do it. And that's what it came to. So you have to also take a class about how not to go bankrupt, which I was actually excited about, because even though these people were telling me to file bankruptcy, meaning money people, and they were saying this is a business decision. Do not get emotional about it. It's a business decision. There's no shame in going bankrupt. Nobody wants to go bankrupt, but it happens. So it's a business decision. I was not seeing it that way. I was emotional about it, like to the extreme. My whole immoral fiber was freaking out, because it was like, no, you always make good on your debts. You always pay your bills. You always pay what you owe. So to find myself not able to pay my bills was absolutely tragic. But this is one lesson I took away from all of that. Before you purchase anything, ask yourself this one question. Is this a need or a want? There's nothing wrong with having wants. You want to have wants. That's a good thing to have wants. But when you are watching your money, or you've got a financial goal, you can't just want. Well, you can want, but you just can't buy everything you want. You have to look at it more logically. Like, don't buy this today, because if you save up 2 worth of those, you can buy something really good that's going to last you a decade or 2 or 3. Versus this, which is going to be good for about 8 weeks, and it's going to look like crap, and I'm going to have to dump it. So, you know, I've looked at a lot of these fabrics that are going out, and I've tried to even use them as rags, and they don't absorb water because they're made out of microfiber. And they just hold water in the fibers, but they don't do any real work. And so If that's made for as a cleaning rag, great. If it's not, it's just something that doesn't hold water, smears things, and it's like, well, this is a useless piece of fabric. Can't even make a good rag. What do you do with that? Oh, it's going to melt or catch on fire in a landfill somewhere across the sea where America ships its crap because it doesn't want the mess that it makes. Which is a really sad thing. Hold on, I got a message. Ah. Cool. So, if you stop and just question your purchase for a few extra seconds, you will find yourself putting a lot of things back. When I go shopping, especially if I'm stupid enough to go shopping hungry, I do not just grab at everything, which used to be the way. It's like, oh, this is just a couple bucks. This is just a couple bucks. This is just a couple bucks. I'm going to spread it out. And I know that I take a long time to eat like snack foods. I really do spread it out. But I am now looking at it like, well, that's a couple of bucks, but it's crap. It's complete shit. It's bad for the body. Why would I want to just have this sitting around? Even if it takes me a month to eat it, it's still not good for me, and I'm wasting my money. And even if I want that, I can bake it for myself at a fraction of the cost, and it will come out way better and even healthier. So all of it, it's, you have to ponder a little bit before we purchase, and we're used to impulse purchasing. Oh, I never saw that one. Mr. Rich, he's watching an old show, and I never saw that episode. It sounds like a good one. But yeah, we're kind of trained. Consider the fact that there is not a thing you can watch on the internet or television, even movies, that isn't selling you something. That's what everything's based on. Selling you a product, and they're going to make it as convincing and as enticing as humanly possible. Are they telling the truth? Most of the time, no, they're not. And you got to remind yourself of that. They're bullshitting you for the privilege of getting money out of your pocket and into theirs. That is what sales is, right? It's all about making a buck. Now, I grew up daughter of a salesman. I'm not going to put down sales. This is how we all live. I'm hoping for sales myself. But we have to judge, I'm not selling a necessity. Aside from the fact that everybody likes to have a calendar, and I'm making a calendar, and everybody likes to wrap their gifts in wrapping paper, and I'm making designs for wrapping paper, I can't really truly say that it's good for you to buy my wrapping paper or my calendar, because both things you can do yourself. Within a moment, you can come up with a piece of paper that you can use to wrap a gift. And why not? You can use newspapers and twine and make it look cool. You can take a crayon or a marker and make a heart on it. You know what I'm saying is you can be creative and not waste anything. You can use what you've got. And the only reason I'm selling even the idea of the papers that, yeah, I've got patterns on mine that you may not go ahead and move, and you want that because it's cool. So I know that the gift wrap I'm designing is basically for people who are into feet and toes and humor. Other people are not going to be interested in what I'm doing, so I'm okay with that. Niche market. But if somebody was really into feet and they want their own gift wrap, they can draw pictures of their feet on a piece of paper and use that to wrap the gift. You know what I'm saying? There's ways around things. Just like you can bake yourself a cake way cheaper than buying one in the store. And yours is going to come out, even if cost is getting close, yours is going to be healthier because you can choose the quality of your ingredients. So it's just choose smarter. And It also would help if you have goals. Like Charlie was really hot for a notebook and a fountain pen, and he knew what the prices were for these things. Now, fountain pens are not things you just see every day, so it's worth, to me, $10 is very reasonable for a fountain pen. My father used Mont Blanc fountain pens, so we're talking about things that were over $100 each. So, perspective, right? At the time that he spent that kind of money on a Mont Blanc pens, he had the money. It's way out of, it's in my taste. I have the taste and the knowledge that, yeah, Mont Blanc would be nice to have. Is it a big thing in my life right now? It's like, no, Schaefer with disposable ink cartridges, fountain pen is just good enough for me. I'm fine with that. So make some goals. If you're going to be saving the money by not buying some crap, set some goals for yourself on what you want to spend that money on. You still have to be here and enjoy life. We want you to enjoy life. You should be having a good time. So don't make it all pressure, And do not get upset if you do a frivolous purchase. You're entitled to do that also. You're working for your money. But even if you were just gifted the money and you want to buy something frivolous, then freaking go do it. I buy candy. I found some awesome Ferrera Black Pearl in the middle of kind of chocolate things. Like, oh my God, these are a tasty bite. I shouldn't be eating these all day, and they're too expensive to do that too. But they're not overly expensive, so a splurge of a few dollars for a couple days worth of candy is like, that's really good. And it's really good because I don't buy them every week or even every month. So when I do get it, I don't have to feel bad that I treated myself to something that was not necessary and not a need and strictly a want. I want that candy. Yeah, there you go. I got some, what's that other chocolate company? They make the square ones. Ghirardelli. They once a year they come out with the dark chocolate dipped or backed candy cane crackly stuff. Peppermint bark, that's what it's called. And I get a bag every year. I love that stuff. But you have to know when to stop. Just because the sugar's not good for you, you don't have to feel guilty because you bought it, but if you're just like doling out a piece or two at a time, it's not as bad. If you sit down and eat the whole bag, you've got a problem. You've got to learn some self-control. Or just don't buy that shit. Yeah. You only live once. It's a good reminder to enjoy life and invest in things that make you happy. But it's not an excuse to do stupid things with your money, your time, or your body. So absolutely enjoy what you can have. And because it's also true, you're not going to be able to enjoy it forever. There's going to come a time where it's like, hey, your cholesterol's high. We don't want you eating that much chocolate. It's like, damn it, okay. All that stuff. Yeah, that's... How else can I do this? Maybe I should cut that up and layer it. They got 4 pieces. Let's try that. You know that old expression, everything in moderation? When it comes to junk food and stuff like that, it's true. You don't have to give up everything permanently unless it's something that's really bad for you, in which case, like smoking. Do not make excuses with smoking, because I'm an ex-smoker. I know all the excuses. But my ex-smokery years I'm paying for that now. No, the cancer's got nothing to do with the smoking. It does have to do with COPD though. And I'm lucky that right now it was caught early, but nevertheless, it's certainly not going to help somebody with a blood cancer. Oxygen is an issue, right? So why would I ever go back to smoking? I would just warn people, it's not just cancer that can be a problem. I mean, you start to feel like you're huffing and puffing when everybody around you is not having a problem. And then you start to feel like, oh, I can't keep up anymore. I don't like that feeling of I can't keep up anymore. So, yeah, if you can, I know how to quit without pain. And it does require some forethought. But you can set it up so that when you quit, you do not go through withdrawal and pain. But most people, you know, it is so addictive, a drug, that we just find ways to avoid quitting until we're ready to just say, oh, I've had enough, I'm done. And when that happens, you know, it works. But until we hit those moments, it's really hard to commit to doing something that's better for us. Yeah, I get it. We have things like that. And when we find ourselves doing that, and I'm going to talk like a counselor here, if we find ourselves doing that a lot, we can also look at, well, what happened that year? What did I lose? What am I compensating for? What hole am I trying to fill in my heart, my life? What happened? If we find ourselves doing something that's out of character, like, wow, this year I spent a lot of money on this kind of crap, but the year before I didn't do anything like that. It's like, what happened? Something happened, something changed that got to you. A loss, a broken heart, a failure, something that makes us feel less than our wonderful selves. Then we start looking for ways to fill that, to heal those wounds. So, Meg, you had losses, did you not? It would not be absolutely unusual to, and it's not a conscious thing. We're not going around saying, oh, I lost this, so I'm going to buy that. We just have a desire not to prevent ourselves from making those purchases. We get out of our own way and say, hey, yeah, I deserve it, or yeah, I want it, or I can do that right now. And it's completely impulsive. An ex-smoker. Doesn't it, Sally? It's mostly for me, it's, I feel compassion for smokers, but I can't stand the smell anymore. Any whiff of it goes right to my esophagus, it feels like, right? I mean, do you have that now too? Can't stand the smell of it. It's like nauseating. And I hate that because one of my dearest friends, unfortunately, smokes. And whenever he visits, he smokes. And even though he's careful to wash up and everything, it's like there's no avoiding it. I get a whiff of it and it's like, ugh. And I feel that for a while. So, yeah, it's a bummer. I'd really like to not be so sensitive because, like I said, I'm sympathetic. I understand how hard it is to quit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely. Like, all we did in smoking was destroy our own health or affect our own health. There's no way we can say smoking is actually good for the physical body. So, yeah. And consider what tobacco is used for. In old times, it was used as a pesticide. You sprinkle it around the base of the plants, And it used to be thought that, oh, you do this for a better harvest, but what you were doing was you were keeping a lot of bugs that couldn't cross that tobacco barrier. They were keeping them away from affecting your crop, so they weren't getting close enough to your plant to eat it. So that was pretty good, but, welcome back, likeness. So if something is being used to kill other things, why do we sit there and smoke, right? So yeah, I'm sorry I ever started. I started smoking when I was 12. And unlike most kids with healthy lungs, I had no reaction. I didn't cough. I didn't spaz out. It was like, hey, I like the flavor. I like the taste of this. Hey, what else is there? And I went ahead and I tried every brand I could get my hands on. It's like, hey, I like that. And then I discovered menthol. Instant addiction. I loved it. So, yeah, between tobacco and tobacco with menthol in it. Yeah, so I was a menthol smoker for a good part of my life. Then I quit for 20 years. And that was awesome because I lived on a farm during those years. And I was always very busy, always in the yard, had all my pets. I did not smoke again until my now ex-husband messed around with my brain and emotion, and then yeah, I started picking it up again. At that point, I was actually only smoking once a week, 1 or 2 cigarettes once a week, and that was it. And that was always on laundry day. It was the only day I could get away from the tension and anxiety. So I did my laundry and snuck a couple of smokes, pretty much sterilized myself, went back home, and then I'd go all week without another cigarette. So, yeah, it was not a healthy lifestyle. But then, when everything hit the fan, I went back to smoking half a pack a day, and I did that for a few years. And then I was like, why am I hurting myself? I'm just hurting myself. There's no reason to keep hurting myself. And that was when I set it in my head. I said, as soon as I finish this manuscript, I'm done. I quit smoking. And I finished the second book on January 1st, and on January 2nd, I quit. And it was completely painless because for 3 months, every time I lit a cigarette, I said, when I'm done with the manuscript, I quit. And when I'm done. And then when I had no idea when I would finish it. Could have been another year. But it took only 3 months. And finished the manuscript. The next day, it was over. Didn't even miss it. I thought I would. I was kind of like, well, how come I don't miss it? And I even tried it. It's like, ugh. I had talked my brain into quitting in 3 months. Oh, when I finished the manuscript, that was the whole cue. As soon as I did that, my brain knew it was over, and it didn't fight. It didn't argue with me. It didn't say, yeah. Every time I guess my body wanted it, it said, nope, we're done. We're done. Don't even think about it. And it was the easiest quitting of tobacco I'd ever. I still haven't gone back, and it's been years now. So, yay. So that's basically the secret to quitting. You have to put that pattern in your brain, so your brain is getting talked to, not harshly. I didn't berate myself when I lit up a cigarette. It was like, yeah, I'm done when I finish this, and my brain. Whatever you tell yourself, your brain will accept as true. That's kind of a problem sometimes with the subconscious, but you can program it and it will work for you instead of against you. So, yeah, that was like one of the most important breakthroughs in my life, discovering how basic it is to program ourselves in and out of things. We program ourselves into things, we program ourselves out of it. Matter of fact, they call that choosing the negative thought and choosing the positive thought. Yeah, I know, I'm still playing with this. I'm not ready to glue it down tonight. I want everything to be completely dry right through. And then tomorrow we can play with more grass. Well, see, you can't take back the past, so don't get angry. That's only eating away at your own body with that anger. It's useless anger. You could be rightfully angry with yourself if you were to pick it up again. If you went ahead and spent on tobacco again, then be angry. But what's done is done. All right, you can't alter the past, and every time you bring it up to yourself, and that you're choosing an angry thought. So that's where we say choosing a negative, choosing a positive. When we make these choices, they're kind of automatic. But if we catch the choice being made, we can change it. And that is the programming that keeps us going into a better future or a crappy future. So, yeah, it's true. Crap's going to happen. That's outside of your control throughout your life. But your responses are everything. And you can't get hung up on the crap. That's what brings us down. Think about if you had all that energy. See, that's what got me to write my second book. This is what took me out of all the anxiety syndrome and the anger syndrome and the fury and rage of being betrayed by my husband. It was like you betrayed yourself when you smoked, but you're not doing it anymore. And just like I had to realize with my now ex, well, he cheated on me, but he's not cheating anymore because he's out of my freaking life. He's 3,000 miles away. And here I am sitting in my bed in the morning crying. Oh my God, he betrayed me. My life is over. The life that I planned with him isn't going to happen. And 22 years of loyalty and taking care of him. And look, we can go on and on. I sat there and finally it hit me in the morning, like I'm sitting there feeling bad. Like, wait a second, where did I leave off on my book? I stopped working on my second novel 8 years earlier because that's when my ex-husband went nuts. And that was when he took all of my attention and energy. Yeah, see, so you're done. I never want to smoke again either. But when I was feeling all that anger and everything, I did. I was reaching for my crutch, what made me feel good. It was one thing he hated too. I knew he hated cigarettes passionately. So for me to smoke was kind of like of yours. But it wasn't about him because ultimately it was hurting me. So that was the realization. It's like all these thoughts of anger, all of these thoughts, these tears, they don't matter to him, and it's not going to change. And even if it could change his mind, I did not want him back. I really sincerely didn't want it to go back. So I thought, well, why am I crying? Why am I anxious? Why am I upset? I don't want him back. He's an asshole. He caused me to be miserable for 8 years before he finally cheated on me. And that was the last straw for me. It was the only way I could give up working on the marriage or trying to help him. It was like, oh, wait a second. I have been going through hell trying to keep your shit together for 8 years, and this is what you did? Fuck you. I am working on my book. I got up and I did not look back. Every single day I got up, and as soon as that anxiety hit, it was like I'm done. I went right to my desk, sat down at my laptop, and that book poured out of me, and there was nothing in that book about him. There was no anger. There was no revenge. It wasn't about him. I was back to rediscovering me and what I was about. And that second novel poured out in 3 months. The first book took 26 years to get to press. This one I did myself, and I published it pretty fast. So like within a year of writing it, it was on the market. So I never wanted to smoke again, and I never wanted to go back with him again. But it taught me, that's the whole point, is that it taught me in all of that pain that I could make a choice in what I was feeling by choosing what I was thinking about. I didn't have to be miserable. I didn't have to be betrayed and outraged and angry with the past. I could just let it go. And it really was as simple as saying, oh, I really can let it go, simply by deciding to do something else. So I stopped ruminating about him. He became a thing of the past. And as time has gone on, he's become more and more the past. This is how past he's become. My first husband, we had an amicable breakup. After 9 years of marriage, we ended it for good. but we played cards with each other every Tuesday at my apartment for 3 years before we each fell in love with somebody else. Today is his birthday, and I remembered it. What I forgot until a few minutes later was, oh, it was also my wedding anniversary to the second husband. So I didn't think about him today. I thought about Tommy. I thought about my first husband and how happy I was that he's doing well. And I wished him a happy birthday. As far as the ex-husband, it was like, oh yeah, I got married on my first husband's birthday. So that's funny. And I can't even tell you what number anniversary this would have been if we'd remained married. So I guess I'm over him. But it's taken since 2016 to make these different choices, the better choice for my happiness every single day. It's like, what can I do for me? What can I do for someone else if I want? What can I do? Instead of thinking these crappy thoughts and getting caught up in that. So today I'm sitting here working on stuff for Toblerina, a new invention from last August. I Will Survive is a great one, exactly. I did wish him a happy birthday. My first husband, I didn't say happy anniversary to the ex. I don't care where he is. I'm not sure where he is. I know where he moved to after we broke up. I doubt he has survived there. So he's probably living with his sister in Arizona. But I did wish my first husband a happy birthday. Yes, I did. He contacted me last week for the first time in 30 years because he happened to come across my artwork on Fine Art America, and I thought that was hilarious. So he looked me up in Messenger and gave me a howdy do. I howdy do'd him back. And exactly, we have a choice in how we react. And that includes the stuff that comes, through Facebook. That includes the stuff that just comes up to our minds, because this is a really important reminder. We are not our thoughts. Our brains go berserk. Our brains come up with all kinds of weird shit. That's not what we would consider a real personality, a real norm, any of that. It's not like our real selves. So yeah, I thought it was very cool for him to say hello. He did not, by the way, say whether he liked the artwork he came across. He just said he came across it. And so he reached out and wished me a Merry Christmas. And I wished him that back for his wife and his daughter. His daughter's turned 20 years old, beautiful girl. And she's going through an adulthood ritual that's Japanese. So she was all dressed in a traditional Japanese outfit. And she just was very beautiful. My first husband, yeah. Yes, but Charlie, my first husband and I have history, actual face-to-face living with each other history. We went through hell and back and good stuff and back. So it's not the same as some stranger who's basically a stranger in another country, not DMing you. By the way, a guy who already told you how busy his life is right now. So my ex-husband also retired, so he had a little time he could say, hey. No, my ex-husband, his name is Tommy. Tommy too. Awesome dude. We didn't break up because we didn't get along. We broke up because after 7 years of marriage, we realized that we both had different, diametrically opposite desires. Not all the same, Charlie. Thinking it's all the same is going to just lead to disaster for you. Things are all not given the same weight. I would never consider getting into any kind of a contact with my second husband. He was a disaster. My first husband was a decent man, and we broke up in a decent way. It's just that he fell in love with California and wanted to stay there. But we married with the premise we were returning to the East Coast, where my family and friends were. And I love the East Coast. And so it was east and west. And then the final thing was that I can't have children, and I did not want children, and he decided he wanted a child. Well, I'm not going to deprive a young person of their goals and dreams. He wanted to be a daddy. And if he stayed with me, he would not have been a daddy. So God bless him, you know. He got to be a daddy, and he's been, no doubt, enjoying every step of the way. So, you know. Oh, that was definitely the second husband, Sally. That was Glenn. I put him on the camera trying to get him to interact with humans. Since he couldn't get himself to do it in person, I was hoping that online would be a little easier for him. No. And if he had not been misdiagnosed by a psychiatrist, I would have left him 8 years before I did. So, live and learn. But, yeah, you know, my first husband and I were very, very good friends. And we should have just stayed friends and not gotten married in the first place. Where can I find Glenn? Why would you want to? Oh, we removed all those videos. Matter of fact, one of my dear friends, Mr. Sater, edited those videos from all those years ago and took him out wherever possible. There is one where I think part of his arm is still visible because he was meditating sitting next to me. But if you want to know what he looks like or looked like, he looked like Tarzan or Conan the Barbarian. Well, let me put it this way. When we went to a rock show, one of my girlfriends came up to me and apologized for staring at him because he looked like some mythical creature walking across the road. I said, yeah, he's a real unicorn. Well, you know, I lived in North Carolina for 17 years, so the best I can say about him is bless his heart. Hope he's doing well. As long as whatever he's doing is at least 2,000 miles away from me. Anyway, my darlings, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. And what is today? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I have at some point the need to do a load of laundry, and I actually had planned on doing that today. It didn't happen, did it? But they're still working on the water, I guess, so I'll just wait until I absolutely have hot water. I hope there's enough for a shower tonight. We don't know. Anyway, I'm starting to feel something akin to hunger. It's dinner time. And I have some beautiful fresh salmon. I think I'm going to broil in my air fryer. I love that air fryer. Now that, if my air fryer was a man, I would marry it. So Charlie, I'm sorry. I'm reading. Just walk around with my Rob all day? Sally, boy, are you astute. That was mostly stoned. He was just stoned. Well, look, we're very different people. We're very different people. I love entertaining. I love making people laugh. And anything I learn that I think is helpful or useful, I try to pass on to people. Because, you know, knowledge needs to be shared. So, you know. When am I streaming next? That's what I was thinking, is tomorrow. A bathrobe. I have appeared on camera. Remember Celestial Tea Room? We used to do Sundays it was pajama Sunday all the time. Always had my nightgown or, you know, something reasonable. I wasn't lewd or crude about it. But yeah, also in my bathrobes. I had a beautiful green Harry Potter-like bathrobe with embroidery, green velveteen kind of thing, and that's gone now. But now I've got a purple fuzzy thing. But I don't like to walk around in my bathrobe. Salmon, yes, salmon. I got some fresh salmon delivered yesterday, and I wanted for New Year's Eve, a special meal, you know, but I'm going to have to just divide it up and freeze some of it. It's not going to last fresh all week, so, you know. So yes, I'll be back tomorrow as early as I can manage. Let me get the mousey. And we will continue with our dedication to National Women's Month. Which is not until next year. So we're going to continue working on this. So Toblerina has a place where she could feel at home with her little, what's going to be her little ears. So have a lovely evening, rest of the night. I will see you sometime mañana.